Hi, welcome to Truth to Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 69 coming at you.
Nice.
Best 69 of all time. Jared Allen beat up the Lions just about like everybody else. Huge NBA drop. We're going to do a bunch of guests today, and we're going to do a little fire and ice. We'll talk about fire and ice in a minute.
Okay, because fire and ice is not well known yet.
Not well known, but it's going to be.
Okay.
Off the top real quick, bias actually starting to hit.
Again, nobody cares here.
Riley Green, Superman catch. People care about that.
A little bit.
He's going to be awesome.
People don't care about baseball. Just look up Riley Green catch, and you'll see it. It was awesome.
Yep. Hockey. People don't really care that much other than hockey players.
Yeah, there's 6 of the hockey fans that listen to our show.
Okay. What about tennis? Tennis is kind of trending up.
No one cares again.
7 people like tennis.
Cat 7.
Shout out to Team Tom. Last week we had him on. Great to have you on. You did a really nice job.
To explain what that means, Tom Linnell, my boy, special guest last week, in person, in studio, held his own, did great. Episode's doing really well. Getting a lot of traction from that. So good job, Tom.
Okay, we got to line up Remy. I saw him today. He's a big fella. It's going to be cozy in here.
It's our next guest.
Okay,
in
so
person.
I read something interesting this morning. Rondo and Ray Allen, right? They had a beef when they played in the Celtics. Did you hear about this?
I heard this.
They actually, their teammates made them box to work out their differences.
Squash the beef, put on, had a ring, gloves, and just keep scrapping each other.
Super awesome. I didn't hear who won. Do you know?
I would assume Rondo probably did.
So would I, but he would fight dirty.
Yeah, like if it was a street fight, Rondo's going to win. But if it was a sanctioned league bout, Ray Allen would win.
Future topic, but let's talk about what other teammates should box. Just for our interest's sake, but also to work out their differences.
That's a really good one.
Yep.
Like Kobe and Shaq. Sorry, guys, but keep moving.
People
get upset if I say what happens.
Yeah. Wow. What a draft. What a night for the Detroit Pistons. That's going to be the crux of our episode today. We do have some guys lined up to talk about it. What we did, we wanted to just talk to some of our fans, let them participate in the discussion of what is, I think, a historic night for the Detroit Pistons and to put them on a path to win multiple NBA championships.
It's a historic night for city of Detroit, for Detroit sports. Yep. This is a really big deal. This is maybe the best Detroit sports day I can remember in a long time, right? Winning the lottery with Cade was a big deal. I'm trying to think what else. Like the Tigers
you don't remember
had some times
when the Pistons won the championship and we put a Big Ben
I think it was like 10 months
Afro
old.
puff on you. Yeah, you're about 10 months old.
Literally 10 or 11 months.
Yeah, it was funny actually.
So the draft, it was phenomenal. We don't want to get into too much of it now, but it was unbelievable. Literally I couldn't believe it was happening. A lot of things happened that I didn't expect.
So we've got Jared, Andrew, and Johnny lined up.
Yeah, first we're going to have Jer, and then we're going to have Andrew and Johnny.
Okay, why don't you cue up Jared and I'll just
also, wait,
get things
really
prepped.
Quick, it is Johnny's birthday today.
Ooh, sweet.
And he was still really pumped to go on the show on his birthday. So everyone, spam happy birthdays to Johnny.
Yep, happy birthday, Johnny.
So we'll remember when we get
on
him
our Instagram, we just need to
I also met these guys.
tag him.
I met these guys
2 weeks ago.
Not even. So, yeah, just putting that out there.
Yeah, Emmitsburg Ballers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got Jer ready.
Cue him up.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So what we did, you cue him up now. What we did is we emailed these guys questions ahead of time that we vetted through our producers. We didn't want to give them all the same questions. So, again, we queued up Jer with 4 different questions. We have answers to the questions. Obviously, my answers are correct. Isaac's are probably a little off. Jer's actually pretty intelligent, so I bet you he has some good answers as well. Should be good to go. Again, just a huge night for the NBA, the Detroit Pistons. Lots of buzz. Jer, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I will just set up Jer, my boy, huge Pistons fan. Jer, who is your favorite Piston? This isn't one of our questions, but is it who I think it is?
Yes, it has to be. It has to be Cade.
Okay, because I know you were big on the Isaiah Stewart bandwagon before it was a thing. Okay, so we've got 4 questions. I'm going to set up the question, and then, Jer, you can go first and then pass it to us. Is that cool?
All right, yeah.
Okay, so question 1, how did you think the draft was going to go before it started?
All right, so before it started, I initially, I think we all wanted Jaden Ivey to be a Piston. I think that was what we thought would be the ideal situation. Him and Cade just complement each other so well. I thought we traded Grant to get Keegan Murray, which kind of upsetted me because he's a very established player. He's good, but I think Jaden Ivey could actually take this team to the next level. He reminds me kind of like Donovan Mitchell in a way with his athleticism and his ability to create his own shot, which we really don't have a lot of on Detroit. So I was really happy with that. I thought we would get Keegan Murray. And once I heard Woj report that Sacramento was very high on Murray, I kind of like had some hope glimmer inside of me. And then we took Ivy. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
So I'm actually like right here with you. I thought Grant was going to get traded, but I thought regardless of what happened with Grant, I thought Keegan Murray was happening. I thought that was I thought he was going to be in Detroit. I didn't think Sacramento would Sacramento, and just like an unbelievable move. They didn't trade down.
This is like a Bowie, right? Sam Bowie, right? They picked him over Michael Jordan. Sacramento did a Bowie.
Another thing I expected before I pass this to Tal, I kind of thought the Gordon Hayward-Charlotte trade was going to happen. Lots of headlines were like, okay, Gordon Hayward and maybe a first is going to come our way, salary dump kind of thing. And we traded with Charlotte in a way, and Hayward stayed on their books. So I was super surprised. I'm like you. I thought Murray was going to the Pistons, and I was not going to be happy with it, as a lot of the followers know here. Tal, what did you think?
Well, I did think that Weaver was going to get Ivy. He is a man who gets things done. I was afraid that he was going to trade Grant just to move up one spot, and I thought that was too much. There was different things we talked about, a current Piston on the roster. I thought most likely would be a future first protected. Obviously, they didn't have to do that. I'm so happy the way they turned out, because guess what? They got Ivy. And they still ended up with Duren, and we didn't really get to get your opinion on that, Jer. What do you think about picking him up?
Oh, I think here's what's funny. It's I was watching the draft with my dad, and I don't usually watch after picks 10. I just wanted to see where Duren goes because I love his length and his strength, his ability to protect the rim. And I remember Charlotte picked him up, and I know they need a center. I rarely comment on picks after number 10. I was saying to my dad, wow, that is an amazing steal for Charlotte. He fits their team perfectly. His defensive size. And then I hear them announce that he's going to Detroit, and there was Shams and Woj both tweeting different things. So I wasn't really sure what was going on. It took a long time to sort that out. And I think Duren is a perfect fit. I don't think he's going to start right away. I think Stewart still can definitely be the guy, but I think that was an absolute steal for Detroit.
I'm with you. There. I love Duren. Next question. Pistons free agency. Do you want anyone? If so, who do you want?
This sounds basic, but I really want Ayton. I really think he can actually bring this team to the next direction. I've heard about Bridges. I'm not sure if that can actually get done to Detroit. I really don't. I know he's from Detroit. I just think Charlotte's going to match anything they can get for him. He's restricted. I think he loves playing with LaMelo. I'd be very shocked if we actually pulled him off. I've seen things about Sexton. I think he would be honestly, no, at this point with Jaden Ivey, it doesn't work. But honestly, Bridges and Ayton, I think, would be the two main guys. I don't think Marvin's ready just yet. I really like him, but it's very hard to depend on someone like him. I don't think he's ever played more than 50 games in a season. So
I think you're right. I think Bridges and Ayton are the two restricted names that are out there. I do really want to re-up Bagley. I like him as a part of the bench. I think Bridges is more likely than Ayton at this point. Tal, what do you got?
I'm on the Bridges bandwagon, all in. Actually, I have pushed Ayton off to the side. I've done a little bit of independent research, and he seems to just not train really hard and stay up all night and watch video games or play video games.
He plays video games.
Yeah, so I don't want Ayton. You know who my sleeper is if they don't get Bridges? Is Otto Porter.
Is he unrestricted?
Yeah, he's unrestricted.
He's unrestricted. That'd be a nice little pickup. They won't have to sign him for a long term for a lot of money. But again, that's stabilizing the veteran presence. He'd be good.
You could start Otto at the 4.
I think you could. That's my thought.
I definitely agree with that. I've seen Otto Porter. I think that would be a nice bridge for Detroit. I think he could bridge the gap until we can find another 4.
Yeah.
Pistons seed next year. This is a really tough question before free agency. I have a number. Jer, what is your number? What seed are the Pistons next year?
All right, so I was hanging out with some of my guys yesterday, and I have one friend who always rips on me for Detroit. He's a big Raptors fan. I hate the Raptors, and he never gives Detroit credit. And he was saying, like, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I think the Pistons can make the playoffs next year. And I couldn't believe it. I think they need one more year, 1 or 2 more years before we can be maybe top 8 seed. I think next year will be honestly in the 11-10 range. I think realistically 11-10 fits. I've seen teams like Phoenix get 1 draft pick, go from 15 to 9 the next year to number 1. And then you look at Memphis, they were a 15 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you always need that 1 year. They went from 15 to 8 right to seed number 2.
I'm with you. I have 10.
Yeah.
I think the Pistons will be a 10 seed. It's a little optimistic. I kind of looked at the East and I'm like, they're better than a lot of these teams. So I think they're going from like 14 to 10. You need an injury or two to get into the 9-8 range. Tad?
Yeah, I have similar thoughts to you guys. Listen, I think they do make a jump next year, but it's not that big a jump, right? It's probably 8 or 9. I've got 8 written down here. I've got another bet with Mr. McLeod, Coach McLeod, double or nothing. He picked a 6 seed last year. We're going to roll it over again. Listen, and if I lose, I'm happy to lose. And if I win, I'm happy to win. But I'm writing down the number 8 for the Pistons next year. I think they're going to be relatively healthy. And there's going to be some other injuries to some other teams.
Yeah, I think to be 8, you need an all-star, right? Cade's got to take a big jump, which I think everyone here thinks he's going to make. We have 2 Cade jerseys hanging behind us as we speak, Jer.
Yep.
Okay, last question with you, Jer.
Right.
Starting 5. What is the Pistons' starting 5 of next year? This is a super tough one.
Starting 5. All right. I'm just so thankful that Killian and Cade is not the backcourt. First of all, I just have to say that I'm gonna go with Cade at the 1 and Jaden Ivey at the 2. It doesn't really matter. They're both interchangeable. They both can handle the ball. And 3. I would go with Bay. I saw some people saying, like, run Bay at the 4 next year. I don't think so. I think keep Bay at the 3. And then at the 4, if we don't get anyone, obviously Marvin Bagley, because, he averaged 15 and 8 on Detroit, like, in his time there. And he obviously can play. I think he's happy to be here. I think if we don't get Bridges, we keep Bagley and we see what he could do. Or Otto Porter or Bridges if we sign any of those guys. And at the 5, of course, Isaiah Stewart. I don't think Duren's ready yet, and I think Stewart's going to make a big jump. You usually see centers like him take off in their 3rd year. So I think, honestly, keep the starting lineup the same with Ivy in there.
I've got Cade, Ivy, Bay. I actually have Bridges down. I really think there's a good shot. He's a Piston. He's liking Jaden Ivey's tweets. He's flirting with Detroit. I think it could happen. And then I think Stewart probably starts.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if Duren starts. So that's my 5.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
I've got Cade, Ivy, Bay. I do have Bagley down. Even though I love Bridges, I think there's still a little more chance that it's Bagley and B. Stu. Who do you have coming off the bench?
For the bench, I have at the 1, Killian. I don't think Corey Joseph is any part of our plans anymore. I'd love to ship him off to a contender. I think he'd fit with his 3-ball ability on a contending team like Milwaukee or Golden State. So no Corey Joseph. It'd be Killian Hayes. At the 2, I'm not a big fan of Frank Jackson. I think he's very inefficient. I wouldn't be shocked if we got another piece that could, maybe a veteran that could shoot at the 2.
Bryn Forbes?
Obviously, as of right now, I'm going Frank Jackson.
I've heard Bryn Forbes thrown around.
Oh, that would be nice. I would really like that. He would fit our team really well.
Or Gary Harris. I know he's not that old, but he's one that
I like Gary Harris. Yeah, that's good.
At the 3, Diallo. I think Diallo can be a great player still. If he develops that 3-ball, I think he could be a great player, especially as a 6-man. Everyone's saying Killian as the 6-man. I really see Diallo as being that main guy off the bench. At the 4, I don't think we really have anyone there yet. Like I said, like Otto Porter would be nice. Otto Porter, Bagley.
Livers. I got a liver shout here.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
livers.
No, I forgot about him.
That's okay. You didn't do your research. You did some research, but you didn't go deep. If you're going to be on the truth, you got to go deep.
Yeah, I love Livers. I think Livers is a great 3-and-D guy. I've seen him play live a few times, and
awesome.
He's really impressed me. And obviously at the 5, you got to go with Jalen Duren.
Cool. Okay, Jared, thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time. Go Pistons. We'll be in touch. We'll probably talk about the Pistons later today. And we'll be in touch, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
You're welcome. Thanks for your analysis. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
See you later.
See ya. Okay, while I set up, I'm going to prep our next guest. So again, we've got Andrew and Johnny. So let me just make the connection here. So little fella next to me plays some basketball, and he's actually pretty good. Don't tell him I said that. So what he's done is you get these connections, right? So he works with Lyndon Craner, right? Craner for council, right? If you're in the Amherstburg area, if you know anybody in Amherstburg, tell them to vote for Lyndon Crane. So the connection is Craner's brother, whose name is Nolan. Isaac went to ball with Nolan and his buddies out in the Amherstburg way. So they're farmers and stuff, I assume. So they come off the cornfields and moving cows, and they're like strong. So Isaac was balling with these boys, Andrew, Johnny, my man,
like 8 others. Like there's a lot.
8 dudes. Who's my tennis player?
Palumbo,
good point guard.
We don't have to go through everyone. My new buddies. We're calling Andrew and Johnny. I'm gonna cue them up now. We've got 4 more questions, 4 new ones with these guys. Okay.
Yep. All right. And remember, it's Andrew's birthday.
Yeah, Andrew. Okay,
it's a big deal.
No, Johnny's birthday.
Oh, it's Johnny's birthday. Yeah, Johnny, get him a body bag. Is it the same Johnny?
Hello?
Andrew and Johnny, you're live on The Truth. How you guys doing?
How's it going, man?
Okay, before we start, it is Johnny's birthday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, round of applause
for Johnny's birthday. Johnny. All right, Johnny.
Woo! Happy birthday, Lopes. Thanks, brother.
Okay, Andrew and Johnny, thanks for coming on the show. We've got all our listeners that are tuned in, excited about your analysis. Obviously, a historic day for the Pistons, the city of Detroit, the city of Windsor, and we're really looking forward to the future. We do want your reaction to some of the specific things that happened in the last 3 days. First question, what was your immediate reaction after the Grant trade?
So my immediate reaction was, what are they doing, right? Because that's, they traded him for a pick. They gave a lot away, but I didn't like it at all until I heard about the Duren trade. And then I was like, well, that's why they did it. Like, it really made sense when everything went down after the Duren trade.
Yeah, same with me. Like, I thought they were just maybe doing it for cap space or something, which they did. But also to get that Duren, it was really nice.
Okay, just for our fans out there, Johnny's the one who's got the radio talk show voice, the deep pipes. Okay, got it. And here's the quick question. Do you think that Weaver knew that the Duren trade was an option when he traded away Grant?
That's a good question.
I think so.
I think he did.
Okay.
I agree.
He was looking at Duren for a bit, and he saw that.
He wanted it big, right? He wanted Duren, or he wanted, who's the guy from Duke? Mark Williams?
Yeah.
I think he just wanted a big guy.
And Williams ended up in Charlotte, so they still got their big. And I actually like Duren a little more.
Yep.
Because I'm older than him. Like Duren is 6'11".
Duren for a bit, so I've been liking him.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, next question, fellas. Do you want Miles Bridges? And if so, how much are you willing to pay for him?
Okay, so I do want Miles Bridges in Detroit. I'd love to see him play in Motor City. I think he's a great player, but I just don't think that you should give him the amount of money that everybody's saying that he needs. I think I would sign him for a 4-year, $48 million contract. But obviously,
how much?
He's 4-year, $48 million. That's what I said.
Way too low.
Okay.
Yeah, way too low.
So that was Andrew who said 4-year, $48 million?
I love Bridges, but I don't think he's worth as much as the other teams are willing to give him.
Okay, just so you know, Andrew, I think your take is so far out of the realm of possibility
Is it?
No, yeah. Johnny, what's your take? I'm hoping that's a little bit closer to reality.
I don't think so.
Yeah, for me, I wouldn't give him a max, but I'd give him pretty damn close.
I wouldn't give him anywhere near a max. There's no way.
I think he's young. He's still got lots of potential, and he's shown that potential.
Johnny, give us the stats. What do you got? What's your prediction?
Like, maybe like 28 mil a year.
I think that's
okay. That's pretty close.
accurate.
I wrote down 4-year, $120 million.
Just to put it out there, the max contract for Bridges is 5 years, $173 million. That's the max. I don't want to give him that.
Or I want Bridges.
Yeah. Okay, fellas.
Yep.
Please lay out the Pistons' future for the next 3 seasons. Again, just where you think you're going to end up from a seeding perspective going into the playoffs, and if you think, and that at the end of those 3 years, we're going to assume that that's where you're going to have the most success, where they end up after those 3 years.
All right, so I hope to see the Pistons in the playoff next year. I hope that they're going to be a playoff team next year. I don't know. Every year, I kind of say that every year, even though they've made some moves this year. I want to see them in the playoffs. And I'm hoping by 2025 they'll be contenders. But that's what 2025, 2026. I think that they'll be in that conversation of winning the title.
Okay, Johnny.
Yeah, next year I just want to see them like be improving every game and competing. Actually, like these past few years, we've seen them kind of tank more. I want to get out of that more and start like competing. And then obviously, I'd like to make the play-in or the playoffs next year. I don't know if that'll happen because of how young the Pistons are. But yeah, definitely the years after that, next 2 years, I'd like to see them in the playoffs competing.
We did this last guest. I have a 10 seed this coming year.
10 seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have the Pistons coming in as an 8 seed next year. The year after that, jumping up to a 5 seed, and then jumping up to 3 seed and making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wait, what year 3 seed?
2025, right? 2023, 24, 25. So 3 seed, which I think, actually, I'll agree with Johnny on this point. That's about the time that they're going to be competitive. And I think the Pistons are going to be a destination. People are going to want to play with them. Go ahead.
Pardon?
Yeah, what's your take on that?
On what? Sorry, you kind of cut out there.
Sorry, that's okay. I think we're having just a little bit of audio difficulties. Team Tal Nation thinks that 2025 the Pistons will be a 3 seed. Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think they have the potential. They keep – and, like, I love seeing, like, Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey. They're always in the gym, I hear, seeing the tweets and stuff. They're always working. I think if they keep that work ethic up, they're just going to get better and better.
I don't think that they're going to. I don't think that they're going to. I don't think they're going to make that 3 seed unless they add a vet to the team.
I agree.
Well,
I think they'll be a 5 seed that year.
I don't think that'll happen if they're that young. I mean, I like young teams, but like you need a leader on that team.
For sure. Now, this kind of ties into our next question, fellas. What veteran do you want to see added to the Pistons?
Okay, yeah, for me, like, I just want to see, like, some older guys, like, maybe not a lot, but, like, just, like, older big men that can really show, like, Duren and Isaiah Stewart. They can help them out. Because I think if, like, Ivy and Cade, they have so much potential. I think that they're going to get better and better. But I think someone needs to guide, like, Duren and Stewart and get them to where they need to get one day for the Pistons to compete.
Do you have some names of free agents?
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, just, like, guys that have been in the league a while that you can sign for not a lot. So, like, JaVale McGee.
Ooh,
Like,
I like
okay.
that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Even, like, Bismack Biyombo. They've been in the league for a while.
I wouldn't mind one of those guys to back up.
Yeah, one of those big
And they're
backup
really
dunker
cheap,
guys.
So,
I've got a couple of names listed. 2 of them are very realistic. One of them is a stretch, but Bobby Portis, I really like the way Portis plays. Obviously, he's going to give everybody some toughness. Talk about boxing teammates. Bobby Portis will box anybody. I think he'll fight a whole team. Another outside shooter, it's pretty much me. Joe Ingles, I'd like to see Ingles in a Pistons uniform.
yeah, I like that, too.
So here's my stretch goal. Kevin Durant.
We'll have this. Let's
a
have this
Piston.
conversation. Let's have the talk.
Okay, fellas, what do you think? Is that even a realm of possibility?
Kevin Durant?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't see Durant going to Detroit at all. I can't see him going for that.
I just don't know if he would want to, really.
Is it bad that I think he might?
Durant's mindset just completely switches from being a ring chaser. I don't know.
If Durant were to come to Detroit, it would be a big FU to the media. Be like, hey, I went to Golden State and ring chasing. I'm now coming to Detroit, who hasn't won for 15 years, 16 years.
And help build the team.
But I think that if he was trying to take on a team, he would go to Detroit because that's the team that would really appreciate him the most.
Yeah.
We're going to have this talk later.
He likes Cade
in
the media.
If Durant were to leave and he weren't to go to a contender, lots of big ifs, but if this all happens, it's Detroit.
Yeah.
That's the spot.
Yeah,
right?
I think so, yeah.
We're going to have this talk later in the show, just Tal and I, about kind of where could KD potentially end up. Look, I think he plays Brooklyn this year. Are you guys with me there?
I don't know. After you see Dame's Instagram post?
I did. Dad, did you?
Yeah.
Basically, Dame just posted for those who don't know, Dame posted a picture of him and KD. KD photoshopped in a Portland Trailblazers jersey.
Yeah.
And then I think Nurkic reposted that.
Yep.
And then everyone made fun of Nurkic and was like, dude, you'd be in the trade. Like, you're not on this team.
Yeah.
I've got a couple other free agents. I want to hear what you guys think. Dad, you can't comment on this one because he's your favorite player in the league. Danilo Gallinari. Do you want Dano in a Pistons jersey? He's an unrestricted free agent next year.
I like that, yeah. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
shooting.
Yeah.
Another white dude who can shoot.
Love Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah, boys, Dano is like my dad's favorite player. I don't get it, but it's true. Another white guy shooter, Maxi Kleba. I really like Kleba.
Oh, you do like Kleba.
He popped off in the playoffs.
He's unrestricted in 23. Now, I don't know. I think Dallas would probably try to re-up him. He plays really well with Luka.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, is Christian Wood going to take that Kleba role? So, if Kleba's out there, I'd love him. Another one, DeAndre Hunter. Now, he's restricted next year. I totally see him running next to Sadiq Bey. I can totally see that kind of front court with Duren in a couple of years.
I agree with you.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said,
go ahead.
My names that I had in mind, I said, and this is kind of a stretch, obviously, but just because he's got ties to Michigan, I would like to see Draymond Green in a Pistons uniform.
I could see that happening. Not, probably a year or two from now.
Yeah,
but I think
when
he
the
would
Warriors
finish
kind of start to fizzle.
Die down.
When Curry and Clay are... Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good take. Very good take. Any other names, fellas?
Johnny didn't like this one either, but I would like to see Drummond come back to Detroit, just for a minimum, just so we can play on the team.
Who did you say?
Drummond.
Oh, no.
Drummond, no. So,
Oh,
anyway, it was a pleasure meeting you. You're never going to be allowed on this show again. You pretty much swore upon my father's grave. You can't speak nicely about Andre Drummond. He's bum. He's terrible.
Bro.
Okay, wait. Just so I can know who I can still be friends with. Who wanted Drummond? Was that Andrew?
That was me.
Okay, so Johnny, we're still friends.
Okay, Johnny, we're good.
Yeah.
Johnny, you're welcome for dinner later on. Come on over. So Andrew wants Andre Drummond, and he also thinks we're going to sign Miles Bridges for minimum wage.
I didn't know. I said that's what I would give him. I never said I think that's what they're going to give him. I said
So it's $16 an hour for Miles Bridges. American or Canadian? Okay, boys, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll probably run Hoop again soon. Tal, anything else to Andrew and Johnny?
No, fellas, thanks very much for joining us today. Love the takes. We don't have to agree on everything. That's the good thing about sports. Everybody has an opinion, and as long as you share your opinion and you're passionate, then that's golden.
Also, everyone, if you guys hadn't heard, it's Johnny's birthday, so we should probably do
Hey, happy birthday, Johnny!
When Miles Bridges signs for minimum wage, I will let you guys know.
Okay, have a good day, fellas.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks very much.
Okay, see you, boys.
See ya. Okay, some interesting takes. Always good to have the fans involved with the thing. Let's run through a couple more observations about the draft, not necessarily all tied to the Pistons. Give me a couple of takes, Isaac.
Draft takes?
Yeah, draft takes.
Okay, I thought the guest stuff went really well. It was like pretty even time for both of them.
Yeah, it was good.
Lots of good mix. That went well. Okay. Draft stuff. Paulo at 1. So let's just spend a minute on this. So essentially, the night before the draft, I'm a high stakes gambler. For those who don't know, right? I made $64 on Golden State this year. High stakes. I'm like Vegas. And I like to pay attention to the odds. Put your phone down, kids these days. I pay attention to the Vegas odds. And Paulo was the favorite going the night before the draft, which was just, Tal's now trying to take a picture of us, so I'm just going to put up number 1 as I keep talking here. Paulo was the favorite the night before. And then Woj is like, hey, no, Jabari's going 1. Okay, then the odds shifted. And then, like, 20 minutes before the draft, it was like, Paulo might go 1. And he was still the underdog. So he was like, plus 350, so like 3.5 to 1, and Jabari Smith was still the heavy favorite to go 1. So I know a lot of people were like, I'm just going to bet on Paulo, because that's what Woj is saying. And then closer and closer, and Paulo was the pick. He didn't work out with Orlando. He didn't interview with Orlando. From my understanding, they had a couple phone calls, and that's it. Like, I listened to the president of basketball operations for the Magic, who's on a podcast I listened to. Not this one, a different one. And from the way he didn't really want to talk about how they didn't interview him at all. Why? That's my question. Why would they do this? What are they hiding? They had the first pick. Are they just trying to mess with Houston?
So I don't disagree with the pick. I do disagree with how they chose to go about it. Like, this is going to be like your franchise cornerstone for the next decade. I think you're overthinking yourselves, right? Like, oh, hey, you're trying to screw with Houston or OKC. Well, is the benefit of screwing with those teams who you don't even play that much anyways worth it for taking the risk on Paulo? I don't think so. And listen, Paulo may turn out to be a really good player, but I don't like it. I don't like the decision to not even interview him and not give him a workout. That being said, didn't really matter to us because we got Ivy. What else? Chet OKC, what are your thoughts about that?
So OKC panicked. 100% this is what happened. They had their mindset on Chet. They expected Jabari to go 1 because that's what everyone expected. That's what a lot of the smart guys expected. So they were like, Chet. They sold themselves on Chet. Oh my gosh, Paulo's going to go 1. Okay, we really like Chet. We probably studied Jabari Smith a lot, but not as much as they studied Chet. I guarantee you that. And they were like, okay, we really like Chet. He's our guy. Let's just keep the pick, send the number in. Boom, Chet.
I agree with you.
I think it was not a reactionary decision, but it was like, well, what just happened? Okay, we have brainwashed ourselves in the past 6 weeks for Chet being our guy. They didn't want to make a change. That's what I think. That's how I think the war room went down. OKC.
Yep, I agree with you. I think OKC is going to be a lot of fun. I still think they're going to suck next year. They're going to tank because they want to be able to get a good shot at the Wembanyama guy, the guy from France who's just like a unicorn.
Who's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like he's 7'3" and plays like
Steph Curry.
Literally. Like it's a video game. Like it's one of the guys you make in 2K.
Yep.
So do we talk about Sacramento a little bit here?
So Sacramento has the longest playoff drought in professional sports.
What is it?
16 years.
Okay.
Right? They went for fit, not future. I don't really understand it.
No. It's fine. If you want Keegan Murray, that's fine. Dude, trade down to 5. Trade down to 6. Unless Weaver just called their bluff. Maybe they were trying to call Detroit, and Weaver's like, no. How about we... Maybe the Pistons like Mathurin just as much as Ivy or something. Or they liked Murray just as much as Ivy. And they're like, you know what, Sacramento? We're not going to give you anything. You're going to make the pick. I'm going to call your bluff. And then I'm just going to pick up whoever you don't get.
Yep.
Maybe that's how it went down. It's unbelievable. I was shocked that Murray went 4 with no trade.
Like Green is going to be compared to Cade over the next decade. And Ivy is going to be compared to Eggs Benedict and Keegan Murray over the next decade.
And then the 3 bigs, I think Chet, Jabari, and Paulo. Everyone, because this was a very memorable draft. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily there was an awesome guy like Cade. Like I think Cade still goes first in this draft.
Yes.
Like if these guys were in last year's draft, Cade still goes 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Mobley actually probably goes 2. I guess maybe Jalen Green. I don't know. I like Mobley a lot.
It's hard to say.
Regardless, unbelievable how Sacramento couldn't get a trade partner. Detroit just said
So funny.
F you and picked up Ivy. Unbelievable. Like,
We should try and
fascinating.
find a Sacramento Kings fan to get on the show.
I can do some Twitter work.
Do some work. See what you can find.
Okay, I will actually do that.
Okay, good. So obviously Ivy drops the Pistons. The whole fire and ice comment that was earlier. The nice thing about Cade is he just plays the game at his level. Obviously he's a different player than Luka, but they do have some comparisons. He's ice and Ivy is fire. He's John Morant light. He's D. Mitch, whatever it may be, but be fun to watch. Do we want to talk about Orlando and being Michigan's South?
You can actually really quickly about the draft. More on the draft.
Yeah.
So I was unfortunately not able to sit down and watch the draft. So this story is actually pretty awesome. I had a basketball game at 8:30, and stupid Tom wanted to go really early. Fine. So I pick up Tom, and I'm trying to stream the draft on my phone through certainly very legal sites.
Yeah, very legal.
Couldn't get the stream. So
Val and Isaiah have access to all sorts of those good sites.
So I'm like, okay, 97 won the ticket. So I have 97-1 on the radio, and I've got Tom refreshing Twitter literally about every 6 seconds. And he's feeding...
Anybody driving at this point?
I'm driving.
Okay.
I'm driving good.
Okay.
Tom is on Twitter, on my Twitter, and then 97.1 is pumping out info. So we are getting all sorts of different people. We've got Woj and Shams basically in the car with us with Twitter, and then we've got 97.1 shouting stuff at us. The picks got announced like 5 minutes before every pick, which is, I don't hate it. Like, people hate it.
Picks got announced on Twitter before they were announced on TV.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Woj would be like, hey guys, Murray's going to go in 6 minutes. And then that's what happened. Look, I don't hate that. Especially when I'm out of the house.
That's just the way it is today.
And people are like, this is disgraceful. No, Woj and Shams, that's their job.
Yep.
Like, that's what they do. So, look, whatever. Just a really fascinating, like, okay, wow, this is happening in 6 minutes. Well, Murray might go 4. That means Ivy might be there at 5. Then all the trade stuff with, like, wait, the Knicks are getting Duren. No, the Hornets are. Wait, the Pistons are involved in this trade. Kemba's going where?
And it took about 40 minutes for everybody to figure that out.
Literally, like it took Woj and Shams like a long time to say this is the trade. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with the draft. Okay.
Awesome.
Michigan.
A couple
Orlando.
of the takes. So Michigan had the Wagner boys and Iggy Brazdeikis. I think I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
And then they decided to pick up Caleb Houston, the wing player for Michigan. So they have 4 Michigan guys who played for the Wolverines in the last 4 years.
One of them is a starter. Actually, most started sometimes. Iggy gets run, and Houston's going to get a ton of run.
Yeah, Houston's going to be a guy who didn't really have the impact that everybody thought he was going to at Michigan. I thought he should have stayed and developed, and he would have been a top 10 player next year, but that's okay. Orlando will be fun to watch.
I think Houston will have a successful NBA career. Just an athletic wing who can shoot a bit, play some D. Like, that's where the league is going, kind of DeAndre Hunter-ish. I think Houston's going to be fine.
Okay, so the KD mess in Brooklyn, it's unbelievable.
I forgot about that.
How bad, right? So Harden, they decided to get Harden. That was a disaster because Harden didn't really want to play with Irving. Irving is just, I don't know when teams are going to figure this out. Like, Brooklyn's going to trade Kyrie, and they'll probably get something half decent back. And then he's going to make some other team a disaster. I have no idea what he's going to be traded to. Like, the Lakers are going to want to get him. The Lakers have like a 2028 pick and a bunch of schmucks.
And Taylor Horton-Tucker and Austin Reeves and...
Yeah.
Remember that cool guy that played from the G League like a few years ago?
Oh, what was his
like
name?
the really old guy who stepped... Like, maybe they can call him up. Like, I think he's a tutor or a teacher or something.
Yeah. So, KD, you left the Warriors for this. Nice job, pal. Nice job.
It's fascinating.
I love seeing the Lakers and the Nets a disaster. That is just makes my heart.
It's good for
warm
basketball.
inside.
It's good for basketball that this super team garbage is crumbling.
Yeah.
So, do we do a quick draft, or do you want to do this next episode?
What's that?
KD fun draft and Kyrie fun draft. Basically, the most entertaining teams from our standpoint, where they end up.
Oh, that's the next show.
Okay, because we can actually do like a whole bit on that. We could do a snake draft of, I think maybe Simmons did it, about where. Okay, so Kevin Durant, what's the most entertaining team for us to end up on, right? Like, just throwing it out there. Golden State would be hilarious. Just because that's
Sacramento.
no, like, I kind of like KD. I like him if he comes to
I
Detroit.
kind of like KD too, but it's terrible.
Really quickly, favorite picks this is going to age really well in 15 years. Dyson Daniels to the Pelicans at 8. just super athletic,
Good pick.
defensive wing guy.
Yep. And he can
Pelicans
play
are gonna
right
be
away
good.
with his defense.
Pelicans are going to be good.
Yeah, if Zion can stay healthy.
Jaden Hardy to the Mavs at 37. Now, this was the guy that was mocked to go like 1 or 2.
Yes. Like a year ago, he was the show.
And if you just kind of forgot how to shoot in the G League, him next to Luka is going to, especially if Brunson leaves.
Yeah, he's going to get some run.
37, no risk. And then Ochai Agbaji is the the older guy who went
Yep.
to Cleveland, who I totally see in Cleveland. He's a play now, win now kind of guy. Right? He's older. And he's one of those athletic wings.
So is he like a 3 kind of guy?
Yeah, he's a 2 or 3. He's a 3, really. I think he's
Okay.
6'7". But he could probably play the 2.
Fun.
He's a guy that is going to be good.
Okay. Lots of episodes coming at you. So this is going to be about 3 episodes in a week. It's a big time for us, and we decided to run it back quickly. Thanks to our guest. Thanks to Isaac for hooking this up. Peace out, everybody.
Good job, Troy Weaver, Pistons GM. We didn't even say his name.
Yeah.
Great job, Troy. Okay.
Thanks, Troy. See
Go
ya.
Pistons.